It's time for high school hockey on Up North Hockey. Tonight's game is sponsored by Iron Range Apparel, the Rick Sports Grill, G&B Environmental, Minnesota Twist Drill, Anthony's Heating, AC, and Refrigeration, Winnie Trading Post, and 90 Degree Media. Tonight's game features the 8-4-1 Duluth Denfeld Hunters and the 13-1-1 Grand Rapids Thunderhawks. Now to the broadcast booth. Here is Randy with your play-by-play call.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the IRA Civic Center for tonight's high school hockey game between the Duluth Denfeld Hunters and the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks. Blake Mortensen joining me here tonight at the IRA Civic Center. My first time here this season, and probably going to be my last for quite some time.
Yes, this is our last regular season high school hockey game here tonight. Duluth Denfeld and Grand Rapids coming your way next on Up North Hockey. This will be our last high school broadcast, like I said, for this season, but probably, for a while at least. Next year, Randy and I will not be doing this. As you all probably heard by now, we are moving on to new chapters in our lives. Randy's moving down to Atlanta, Georgia. His wife accepted a job with Delta Airlines down at the headquarters in Atlanta, and I'll be moving on to college to pursue journalism and broadcasting down at the University of Minnesota next year. So, it's probably not going to happen next year, but, you never know, I guess. But we are moving on next year, so we thank everyone for tuning in the last couple of years, and this should be a fun game. This will be our, it's a big game for us, obviously, and then, a big game for Grand Rapids. To the game here, they're looking to get that number one seed in Section 7AA. They pretty much have to win this game here tonight to get number one over Andover. They have a QRF of 119.3 right now, and Andover with a QRF of 113. The reason they have to win this game is because if there's a 5-point threshold in favor of a team for the QRF, they go to a tiebreaker, which Andover would have the tiebreaker for some reason. I'm not sure what the tiebreaker is, but either way, Grand Rapids just have to get the job done here tonight, win the game, and they'll get number one in Section 7AA.
Yeah, and that's huge this year because the high seed is hosting the playoff game, so certainly it's a big advantage for you to get home ice in the playoffs. And Grand Rapids obviously here tonight, they want to get that number one seed in the 7AA playoffs and host all of the games here for playoffs as long as they keep on winning.
And Duluth Denfeld, they got the number 2 seed in Section 7A. They will play the winner of International Falls and Ely in the Section 7A quarterfinals. So not as of an important game for Duluth Denfeld. Obviously, they want to beat Grand Rapids. That'd be a huge momentum win for them going into the playoffs. So, a big game for both teams either way. So we'll step aside here. Zambonis are out after warm-ups. We have a little bit of a delay here after a piece of the glass broke. But good job, good job to the Zamboni and rink workers here. They got that done pretty quickly, Randy. They cleaned that up pretty quickly.
Yeah, they did. With a matter of minutes, they had that new pane of glass in there, and they got it cleaned up, within about 5 or 6 minutes. And yeah, very good job by the staff here getting us ready to go. So we'll start just a few minutes late, but not too bad here tonight.
We'll take a break here, play our sponsor ads. It's Duluth Denfeld and Grand Rapids coming your way next on Up North Hockey. The Rink Sports Grill in Eveleth offers casual family dining in a hockey-themed atmosphere. Try one of their daily specials or your favorites from the menu. The Rink Sports Grill offers 8 large-screen TVs and two 10-foot projection screens, so you never have to miss a minute of the game. The rink also offers large and small group seating with meeting areas available. Full menu, limited menu, or buffet, they can cater your event, party, or meeting. That's the Rink Sports Grill at 301 Hattrick Avenue in Evelyn. Check them out today. Stop by Iron Range Apparel for all your Minnesota-themed clothing and home decor. Located in the Thunderbird Mall in Virginia, Iron Range Apparel offers lake cabin and home decor along with a large variety of apparel. Grab a hockey hoodie for the rink or a winter hat for the cold Minnesota weather. Iron Range Apparel also offers wholesale pricing and custom screen printing. Find them on Facebook and Instagram or shop online at ironrange.shop, and good luck to all the players. Minnesota Twist Drill is a proud sponsor of Up North Hockey and wish best of luck to all players on the season ahead and to have fun. For all your heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration needs in the Grand Rapids area, call Tony from Anthony's Heating, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration at 218-256-1092 or find them on Facebook at Anthony's Heating, AC, and Refrigeration, LLC. G&B Environmental specializes in proactive air and water filtration services, HVAC coil protection, cottonwood screen insulation for cooling units, UV light air purification systems, and electrostatic disinfectant spraying for COVID-19 and other contagions. Give them a call at 1-800-466-2018 or visit gbenvironmental.com. Winnie Trading Post is your one-stop shop on the way to the lake. Located 12 miles north of Deer River on Highway 46 by Lake Winnebagosh, Winnie Trading Post offers gas, food, bait, propane, and everything in between. Find them on Facebook by searching Winnie Trading Post or stop by on your next trip to the lake. All right, welcome back to the IRA Civic Center, everyone. Teams are just about to come back on the ice for the starting lineups, national anthem, and opening puck drop from the IRA Civic Center. Duluth Denfeld comes into this game with a record of 8-4-1. In their last game, they defeated Greenway 6-0. And they just got news today that they got the number 2 seed in Section 7A. They will play the winner of International Falls and Ely in the quarterfinals in Section 7A. Leading scorers for the Hunters, Simon Davidson, the junior, with 12 goals, 16 assists for 28 points. Senior Cade Shea with 13 goals, 15 assists for 28 points. Junior Connor McClure with 9 goals, 16 assists for 25 points. And sophomore Andy Larson with 9 goals, 14 assists for 23 points. And the goaltender, senior goaltender Jacob Snyder with a record of 8-4-1, goals against average of 2.67, and a save percentage of .912. And for Grand Rapids, they come into this game with a record of 13-1-1. In their last game, they tied Wayzata 3-3 on Saturday. They need to win tonight, pretty much, to get number 1 seed in Section 7AA. Of course, they do QRF in 7AA. And over right behind them, leading scorers for the Thunderhawks, Jack Peart, the senior, with 10 goals, 20 assists for 30 points. Senior Hunter Bischoff with 11 goals, 11 assists for 22 points. Junior Joey Del Greco with 7 goals, 14 assists for 21 points. And junior Garrett Droth with 10 goals, 7 assists for 17 points. For the goalie for Grand Rapids, senior Wyatt Pilkington, record of 12-1-1, goals against average of 1.56, and a save percentage of .921. Stats on both teams before this one. Starting lineups right now, Randy, just about ready to go.
Yeah, this should definitely be a fun night here in Grand Rapids. Introductions for Duluth Denfeld happening right now.
Starting goaltender for Duluth Denfeld is the senior Jacob Snyder. On the first defense is number 6, Joe Udd, also a senior. The second defense, senior Kading Casisto. The first forward is number 10, Nate Burke, a senior there. Cole Olson, a senior, number 13. The second forward, and the final forward, number 21, Cade Shea, the senior captain. Notice they have all seniors for this final regular season game.
Yeah, a lot of times in their last game of the season, the teams will start an all-senior lineup. They're able to.
Now the starting lineups for the number 4 team in the state for Class AA, the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks, record of 13-1-1. Starting goaltender will be the senior goaltender, Wyatt Pilkington. The first defenseman will be number 5, Easton Young. He's a junior on this team. Second defense, of course, number 23, Jack Peart, the senior St. Cloud State commit. The first forward, John Bonner, number 7. The second forward, number 9, senior Braden Holcomb. The last one will be senior captain, number 12, Hunter Bischoff. Starting lineups for both teams. Now time for the national anthem from the IRA Civic Center.
Once
Well, that was a very nice national anthem there. Whoever sang that did a really good job, I thought. We're just about ready for hockey between Duluth Denfeld with a record of 8-4-1 and Grand Rapids with a record of 13-1-1. Like I said before, Duluth Denfeld coming off a victory over Greenway 6-0, and Grand Rapids coming off a tie 3-3 versus Wyzetta on Saturday.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one here tonight. Our last regular season, or our last broadcast here on Up North Hockey, and will be my last broadcast here in this arena, probably for, well, it's going to be a while. I mean, yeah, might be might be forever. Who knows? Moving down to Atlanta next year, we'll see what happens. But certainly going to be a special night here in Grand Rapids IRA Civic Center. And our last broadcast together, Blake.
Yep, that's right. Our last broadcast ever as partners. We did a lot of games last season. Every game we did pretty much was us two doing the games. So, yeah, a special night here for us two. And, you know, for these seniors, too, a big game on the ice as well.
Grand Rapids wins that draw, and it's dumped back in by the Nate Burke of the Hunters. Peart behind the net. Peart's going to come out through center. Is dumping in all the way in. Breakaway for number 12 in Hunter Bischoff, and a chance right away for the Thunderhawks as they sent Bischoff floating out in the middle of the ice. Just about worked for them. Sent out Young, sends it up to Bischoff. Bischoff knocks it out at center ice and backhands it in for Bonner, but it's the wrong side of center. Icing is the call.
And I was going to say, how fitting, Adam Franzen tuning in here tonight. He says, no, you have to stay here for hockey.
Yeah, Adam Franzen, one of our very first people that followed our live streams, and all the way back to game 1 last year.
He watched probably every game last season, I would say.
He was on a lot of our broadcasts last year. Just you and I working those games. This year we added some partners to help out as well. So. And moving out, dump back in by the Hunters, but Grand Rapids is going to come out. Morquay moving it back in to the Hunters zone. Back along the boards, hinted by Kerr. Kerr will hold it along the boards, and now it's picked up and moved around by the Hunters. Bloomquist touching it, and now ahead for Connor McClure. McClure with a rebound chance, and he couldn't get to it. Morquay picks it up. Morquay sends it out here. Up to Del Greco. Now it's taken away. Moving in is Karch. Karch with a chance out front. Rebound in front also for Andy Larson. It's Karch and Larson, and a couple big saves there early on for Wyatt Pilkington. And dump back in for the Hunters as Andy Larson's dumping it back in the corner. Young plays it. Young moves it up to Mortensen. Mortensen picks it up, and he'll send it back behind the net over to Sam Sturl. Now it's fired in, shot right on by number 22, Caden Postal.
Well, we're only about 2 minutes into this game, but what a start for Duluth Denfeld. They're buzzing here in the first couple minutes. Still very early, 15:07 remaining in period 1, but they just about made it 1-0 there.
Yeah, definitely Denfeld buzzing here. Picked up Mortensen. Mortensen moving it ahead as Mortensen will top it, and now Peart picks it up. Now it's taken away by Denfeld, but recovered by Henry Sturl. And dumped back in by the Hunters, back behind the net. Shot coming in from Caden Cosisto. Cosisto will hold it in. Now shot by Cole Olson. And shot on net, and Pilkington the save. Denfeld with a lot of pressure here. 6-1 in shots on goal. Favor the Hunters here.
And talking about the Section 7 AA seedings again, Grand Rapids obviously needs to win this game here tonight. If they lose, they will not get the number 1 seed in Section 7 AA. But if they win, they should get it over Andover. Right now, Grand Rapids is number 4 in QRF in Class AA with a QRF of 119.3, and Andover is right behind them, 6th place in AA QRF with a QRF of 113.
Dump back is Young. Young sends it out to center ice, picked up by Holcomb. Holcomb sending over to side to Bonner with a drive on save by Snyder. Peart keeps it in, over to Young. Young sending it in towards the net. Rebound comes out, but Young sends it back in. Now it's out front on the other side, over to Bonner, shot and a goal! Bonner buries it. Nice setup play there for Grand Rapids, and just like that, Thunderhawks 1-0.
I believe it was maybe Holcomb that shot that. I'm not totally sure. Bonner or Holcomb, but
yeah, we'll see who got the tip in. But I thought it was Bonner, but maybe Holcomb ended up getting the tip in at the end there.
That was a really good response by Grand Rapids. They struggled in the first 2 minutes or so, and they go right down and score on their first rush of the game.
Fight. Oh, I'm trying to write down the goal.
Another goal here for Grand Rapids.
And it is scoring that way is Morquay getting the second goal for Grand Rapids.
But scoring the goal was Braden Holcomb. I heard Hunter Bischoff, and I think I heard number 5, Easton Young, with the second assist on that goal.
Yeah, it was Bischoff and Young on the assist there. So Denfeld sending it back in, Morquay behind the net. Morquay working around. Grand Rapids off the early lead here in this game, 2-0. Moved back in by Mortensen. Mortensen behind the net. Mortensen sends it back over on the other side, and DeMars back on Morquay. Morquay sends a shot into the corner.
So scoring the goal was Ren Morquay, number 15. The single assist went to number 16, Justin Kerr, on that goal. 2-0 Grand Rapids. 12:58 remaining in period 1. Shots on goal are 6-4 in favor of Duluth Denfeld, but yeah, that was a nice response by Grand Rapids. They, like I said, Duluth Denfeld just about made it 1-0 in favor of them. They're playing really well to start the period. 2 minutes in or so, they had numerous opportunities, and then Grand Rapids goes right down and scores 2 quick goals to make it 2-0.
Sturl moving it back into the Hunter zone. Behind the net, Snyder will leave it back there, and Grand Rapids trying to keep the pressure on here in this first period of play. And whistle stoppage of play. Yeah, early on, Denfeld was leading 6-1 on shots, and then all of a sudden Grand Rapids comes back and gets 2 quick ones, and it changed the momentum of this game.
Well, Randy, this is your first time here this season. It's got to feel weird without the crowd, huh?
Yeah, you're used to such a big crowd in this place, and just an electric crowd, and yeah, definitely doesn't have that. That obviously tonight, that's not the case.
A few more fans than the earlier games this season. It seems a little more packed in here, but yeah, definitely not how it is normally.
All right, back over on the other side. Nate Larson sends it back in for the Hunters here. Pilkington will leave it for Young. Young moving it over on the side to Peart. Peart moving it back in. Grand Rapids moving in with Bischoff. Now picking up is Holcomb. Holcomb back to Bischoff with a drive on net. Good chance for Bischoff there. Also out front was John Bonner. Bischoff picking it up here. Bischoff sending it back to Young. Young will move it back into Bischoff. Now Peart into Holcomb over on the other side. Holcomb with it. Holcomb trying to get it back over in the center of the ice. It'll come out. Peart will pick it up. Peart will backhand it in, and Knocked back by Bonner. Bonner picks it up, back over to Peart. Peart over to Young. Young moving it back in here, dumps it back in the corner. Now Nate Larson fires it around. He'll get it out to center. Now moving in is Andy Larson. Larson's shot goes wide of the net. Rebound on the other side. Good chance for Connor McClure. Now it's picked up by Jody Del Greco. 10:54 to go here in first period of play. Grand Rapids with the early 2-0 lead. Dumped in by Del Greco, but this is going to be too far for the icing.
I see we're getting a couple messages in here kind of questioning what the seeding is. This game does matter for seedings because Section 7 AA is based off QRF. They don't do a coach's vote, so it's based on QRF. It's all mathematical, so if it's pretty likely if they lose this game, Grand Rapids, they will get the number 2 seed, and they pretty much, they got to win the game.
Exactly, because if you're within 5 points, that is considered. Andover would get that number 1 seed. The QRF is a different system. Sent in, back around the net, had a chance for Postal. Now Denfeld will keep it in. Morquay trying to pick it up here. Morquay sends it over on the corner, picked up by Kerr. Kerr will knock it out just outside the blue line and sent back in by the Hunters. Back in there to get his Karch on the boards, and Drot's helping out. Now it's picked up by Del Greco. Del Greco will bring it back out to center here and dump it back in for the Thunderhawks.
And Grand Rapids, they want that number 1 seed. They want that home ice advantage. This team plays very good at home. They have not lost a game here in this building this season. I feel like, me personally, I feel like they don't play as good on the road. They don't score as much, I could tell you that. They've been really turning on the offense here in the last couple games, here at home especially.
Peart moving it up to Sturl. Sturl trying to knock it back in. It's picked up by the Thunderhawks, and Larson moves it out, and now it's moved in by Cooper McClure. Now it's taken away by Peart. Peart is going to leave it back for Young. Young moving it back over as Brous touches it. Brous with it. Back over to Young. Young moving it through center and dumps it back into the Hunter zone. 9 minutes to play here in the first period of play. Grand Rapids 2-0. Back the other way comes the Hunters, and shot goes into the corner off of number 18. That's Connor McClure. Now it's picked up by by Morquay. Morquay sends it back out, and Odd sends it ahead. Here's a chance for Larson. His shot just goes wide of the net. And dumped in, and a shot right on goal and out of play by Joe Odd. So Denfeld kind of settling down here a little bit after those 2 quick goals for Grand Rapids.
Yeah, besides those 2 goals that they let up, Denfeld hasn't played that badly. They lead in shots and goal 9-6, but they still trail 2-0. You're about halfway through the first period of play, 8:23 remaining in the first.
Holcomb bringing over to Morquay and back over to Peart. Peart sends it ahead to Bonner. Bonner backhands it over on the other side. Peart's going to pick it up and send it out. Moving out as Bischoff into Bonner. Bonner had a chance and he lost it. Back the other way is Karch. Karch sends it back in. Tipped in by Larson. No high stick as they wave that down. Hunter Bischoff with it. Bischoff sending it back into the Hunter zone. And that was on the wrong side of center. Icing is a call.
Well, talking about the Section 7A seeds, the coaches voted on that today, and they came out with the seeds. Hermantown, the number 1 team in Section 7A, they will play the winner of North Shore and Proctor, the 8 and 9 teams in Section 7A. Then Duluth Denfeld will play the winner of International Falls and Ely. International Falls is ranked number 7, and Ely is ranked number 10 for the seedings. Then Hibbing Chisholm, number 3, they will take on number 6, Greenway. Then the 4 or 5 game, another matchup in the playoffs between Virginia MIB and Evelyn Gilbert for the 4 or 5 game. in Section 7A.
Yeah, how many times have those two teams met 4 or 5? There's been lots of meetings. Sent back in here for Grand Rapids, and chance out front. Yeah, it's just tipped off as a stick of Drotz. He couldn't keep the play going. Now it's Del Greco back to Drotz. Drotz now behind it, centering out front. Shot, goal for number 16, Justin Kerr. It's 3-0.
I thought that puck went in the net initially. He still put it in after, but I thought the first shot went in there, but I'm not totally sure. But looked like it might have, though.
Yeah, either way, they got that second effort, and Justin Kerr put it home.
Well, it's 3-0 Grand Rapids now with 7:10 remaining in period 1. Very good period for the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks here tonight.
Moving it out here is now back in the corner, picked up and moved out by the Hunters, Connor McClure, and now the Rapids sends it back in. Back in the corner, back behind the net is DeMars, and now comes out to center and dump back in here for Cooper McClure.
The 2 assists on that goal was number 10, Joey Del Greco, with the first assist, and the second assist went to number 17, Garrett Drotz. Once again, scoring the goal, number 16, Justin Kerr.
Moving it in just offside was the Thunderhawks. 6:24 to go here in the first period of play. Grand Rapids with a 3-0 lead.
So talking about Evelyn, Virginia, you could ask Reed Larson that. He's here tonight. Of course, he coached Virginia for a long time, and he faced off against Evelyn in that quarterfinal games multiple times in the playoffs. So they meet again, 4-5 game, Evelyn Gilbert, Virginia MIB. The last high school hockey playoff game at the Brie Cupoletti Arena Miners Memorial Building in Virginia.
Right, yeah, the last.
That'll be the last one.
Last one there, and then it'll be
probably the last youth hockey games too, with the region tournament going on.
Right, exactly. Yep, the last youth tournaments being held in there, unless there's like a squirt tournament in the spring or something like that. But other than that, that's going to be it for the Miners Memorial Building. And it's going to come out. Back is Larson. Larson coming back in here. Larson trying to make a move. Larson with a shot on Pilkington to save. Whistle as a slashing penalty is coming up here. Our first power play of the game.
That's John Bonner heading to the box. On the season, Duluth Denfeld has a 14% power play. Grand Rapids with an 84% penalty kill. So we were talking about this about Hibbing Chisholm. Same thing with Duluth Denfeld. Their power play has to be better. When you're playing a team like Hermantown in the playoffs and you get power plays, you got to capitalize on those man advantages. So 14%, that's not going to cut it against Hermantown on the power play.
Yeah, the Denfeld sending it in. Back at Larson, back over on the other side. Shot gets placed in there. Larson's going to pick this up. Larson going back over to Shea. Shea can't hold it. He'll have to come back out to center and retreat. Pressured on the play by Sturl. Now Shea picks it up here. Shea sends it over to Larson in the middle. Moving it back in. Connor McClure over on the other side. McClure sends it behind the net. Picked up by Peart. Shot down low. His stick broke there. Joe Odd had a chance, but the stick broke. Del Greco moving back in. Del Greco swinging around. Shot right on by Del Greco. And a big save for Snyder.
Well, that was a rare turnover by Jack Peart there. Turned it over right in front of the net. You don't see that too often with number 23 on the ice there. But, yeah, Joe Udd, number 6, broke his stick there. That was just a wrister, too. I'm not sure how he broke it, but that was unfortunate for Udd of Denfeld that he broke his stick on that golden opportunity for Duluth Denfeld.
Yeah, he was right out front, right in position to score, and Well, that's another $250 out the door or so. And moving it back in. Thunderhawks right down low, right on Snyder. Good chance in there for Sam Sturl.
That's the second shorthanded opportunity for Grand Rapids. Of course, about 30 seconds ago, Joey Del Greco had that shot on net. Grand Rapids still in the penalty kill here, and then Sam Sturl had that opportunity. 40 seconds remaining on the power play for Duluth Denfeld.
Cooper McClure behind the net gets it ahead over on the other side to Caden Casisto. Taken away by the Thunderhawks. Holcomb moving it back in now. Holcomb swings it back to Morquay. Just going to kill off the rest of the time here. Morquay sends it back in here for the Thunderhawks. 19 seconds left on the power play for the Hunters. Cooper McClure with a drive over the top of the net. Back to the point. Cade Shea sends it back in. Picked up by Young. Now back to Peart. Over to Young. Young moving it up to Bischoff. Bischoff moving across the ice over to Holcomb. Holcomb tips it back in. Both teams are back at full strength here. Holcomb in the corner. And now helping out is Bonner. Bonner behind the net. Bonner centering out front. Nobody home for the Thunderhawks. And the moving out is Simon Davidson. Davidson along with McClure sends it back in the corner. Picked up by Peart. Now in there to get it. Trying to get it is McClure. Fight for it for Young. Young along with Davidson. And now it comes out to center ice. Young's going to send it back in here. 2:57 to go here. First period of play. Grand Rapids leads 3-0. Held in by Mortensen, trying to tip it in, and now Larson. Larson moving it back in. Larson trying to get around the D. Good job by the Thunderhawks there, closing it down. Picked up by Postal, back over on the other side. Shot on, and sent back in by the Hunters, back behind the net to Karch. Karch moving it around. Now it's picked up by Henry Sturl. Sturl going on the other side over to Morquay. Back to Peart. And tipped out by the Thunderhawks, but mocked back in by Blomqvist. And now it's picked up by Morquay. Morquay over to Peart. Peart going over to Mortensen. Mortensen over to Del Greco. Mortensen back to the center of the ice. Del Greco skating in. Little screen set up by Mortensen. Grand Rapids keeps it in with DeMars. DeMars behind the net. DeMars trying to wrap it around back of the net there and could not. Drotz over in the corner. Drotz sends it back to the point to Young. Young going over on the other side to Stauffer. Stauffer will play it at center, and it's tipped back in by Nate Burke. Now it's picked up by Young. Young moving it back over to Drotz. Back to Del Greco. Del Greco wheeling around. Del Greco takes a shot over the top of the net, and has Stauffer. Stauffer sends it back in. DeMar is behind, and now it is Young with it. Young sends it in front, tip out front. Del Greco trying to reach it over on the other side. He'll pick it up and move it back in. Del Greco with a shot right on. And a stoppage of play with 1:02 to play.
So early in the season, talk about this Grand Rapids team. Their defense, of course, is really good, obviously.
Yeah.
Wyatt Pilkington's playing really good in nets as well the last few games, second half of the season. But, yeah, their defensive core led by Jack Peart has been very good all season. But early in the season, this Grand Rapids team really struggled to score goals. And it really took Coach Wade Chido a long time to kind of get that third line set up. He was kind of juggling the lines all the time. And after that World game, Wade Chido finally found a combination that's been working for this team. They didn't have a very good game against Warroad. So there's a rebound chance for the Thunderhawks. They didn't have a very good game against Warroad. He switched up the lines, and since then they've been scoring a lot of goals, especially here at home. And you have players stepping up such as Blaine Mortensen up in that third line. He played mostly JV for the first half of the season. He had a big game against Hermantown where he scored his first 2 goals of his career. And then also Hayden DeMars, Henry Sturl playing a lot better here in the second half. And then you have the usual suspects, Joey Del Greco, Hunter Bischoff, Braden Holcomb. But probably the comeback player of the year, or the most improved player, has probably been Garrett Drotz. Last season he hardly played varsity at all. And now he's in top 3 or 4 for points. He has 17 points on the season. So Garrett Drotz for sure the most improved player for this Grand Rapids team this season.
And it is at center ice to battle for it, and that's going to do it for our first period of play.
Well, a very good period for Grand Rapids. They kind of came out flat-footed a little bit. I mean, a couple opportunities for Duluth Denfeld to strike first, but Wyatt Pilkington, the saves he made 13 saves in that period. He did a very good job in net. The first couple shots that Jacob Snyder faced, he let them in. So, a little shaky for him. It's 3-0. He let up 3 goals on 9 shots. It just hasn't been it wasn't his period there here in the first period. And then, like I said, 3-0. Duluth Denfeld did not play that bad. They had numerous opportunities. They just couldn't get the puck past Wyatt Pilkington, and then, they let up a couple goals to Grand Rapids. And, 3-0 only, it feels like it's lopsided already. If Grand Rapids continues to play the way they're playing, it's probably going to be the same way in the next 2 periods, I would say. But definitely a good start for Grand Rapids. Like I said, Duluth Denfeld not playing too bad, too horribly, but 14 shots on that couldn't solve Pilkington in the first period.
Yeah, Denfeld got kind of a quick start. They had a lot of chances. Early on it was 6-1, and then all of a sudden Grand Rapids got that first goal, and they really turned it on here in that first period of play. Grand Rapids got the first goal coming from Braden Holcomb. The first assist going to number 12, Hunter Bischoff. Second assist to Easton Young. And then Grand Rapids makes it 2-0 from Ren Morquay. The single assist from number 16, Justin Kerr. And then Grand Rapids makes it 3-0 in the first period. A goal from Justin Kerr. And first assist to Joey Del Greco, and a second assist going to Garrett Drotz. So that was the scoring in our first period of play.
Well, that's all for me. I guess we'll take a break here, play our sponsor ads, and be back for the second period of play. Once again, it's Grand Rapids 3, Duluth Denfeld 0. We'll be back for the second period of play. Coming up, you are watching high school hockey on Up North Hockey. The Rink Sports Grill in Eveleth offers casual family dining in a hockey-themed atmosphere. Try one of their daily specials or your favorites from the menu. The Rink Sports Grill offers 8 large-screen TVs and 2 10-foot projection screens, so you never have to miss a minute of the game. The Rink also offers large and small group seating with meeting areas available. Full menu, limited menu, or buffet, they can cater your event, party, or meeting. That's the Rink Sports Grill at 301 Hattrick Avenue in Eveleth. Check them out today. Stop by Iron Range Apparel for all your Minnesota-themed clothing and home decor. Located in the Thunderbird Mall in Virginia, Iron Range Apparel offers lake cabin and home decor along with a large variety of apparel. Grab a hockey hoodie for the rink or a winter hat for the cold Minnesota weather. Iron Range Apparel also offers wholesale pricing and custom screen printing. Find them on Facebook and Instagram or shop online at ironrange.shop, and good luck to all the players. Minnesota Twist Drill is a proud sponsor of Up North Hockey and wish best of luck to all players on the season ahead and to have fun. For all your heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration needs in the Grand Rapids area, call Tony from Anthony's Heating, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration at 218-256-1092 or find them on Facebook at Anthony's Heating, AC, and Refrigeration, LLC. G&B Environmental specializes in proactive air and water filtration services, HVAC coil protection, cottonwood screen insulation for cooling units, UV light air purification systems, and electrostatic disinfectant spraying for COVID-19 and other contagions. Give them a call at 1-800-466-2018 or visit gbenvironmental.com. Winnie Trading Post is your one-stop shop on the way to the lake. Located 12 miles north of Deer River on Highway 46 by Lake Winnebagosh, Winnie Trading Post offers gas, food, bait, propane, and everything in between. Find them on Facebook by searching Winnie Trading Post or stop by on your next trip to the lake.
All right, back here at the IRA Civic Center after one period of play. It is the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks 3 and the Duluth Denfeld Hunters 0. Blake Mortensen, Randy Catron, one final time from Grand Rapids, Minnesota tonight. We appreciate you joining our broadcast here tonight.
Well, let's kind of talk about, our journey with this Up North Hockey. We started this 4 years ago, back in probably 2018. We just started doing Twitter updates and stuff and traveling to games, around the state, mostly here around the Iron Range, but we did occasionally go to Duluth and down in the Twin Cities and stuff. So that's how we kind of grew our account, and it blew up from there. You know, people loved it. People loved the updates before, you know, live streaming this year kind of became a necessity, you know, with the pandemic going on. So we started this live streaming last year. It was perfect timing for it with the pandemic going on this year, starting, you know, a year ago last year. So it's been a lot of fun, you know, streaming games and just providing this coverage, watching this great hockey too. You know, nothing beats Minnesota high school hockey. You know, all across the country, nothing beats it. So it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor to be doing games in these historic rinks, covering these historic teams: Evelyn Gilbert, International Falls, Virginia, Hibbing Chisholm, Greenway, Grand Rapids, all historic teams. So it's definitely been a lot of fun, Randy.
Yeah, it definitely has been. You know, we started out, like you said, you know, Twitter the first year and a half, season and a half. We were just strictly Twitter, you know, and driving all over the state to cover games and tweet updates and post pictures and videos. And then last year we started streaming live games for the full season, and then we've had a very busy season this year as well. On our shortened season, we were able to add some double headers on a lot of nights too as well.
And we'll talk more about Up North hockey in between the second and third periods.
Breaking in, shot right on by Bischoff. And a shot in there, Snyder with the big save early in this period as Bischoff breaking in for that big shot.
Well, Grand Rapids starts the second period right where they left off in the first period. They lead 3-0 here to start this second period. Duluth Denfeld need to get the next goal for sure.
Yeah, Denfeld moves it out here. Simon Davidson knocking it back out. Peart, but that's going to be an icing as the call. Want to give a shout out to Cheryl Robatson and Cindy Dumpke. They're both watching from Florida tonight. They're watching Nate Burke play. So please message in where you're watching from. We like to give you a shout out whenever we can too as well during our broadcast.
So yeah, Pizza Dude is tuning in again. He's been watching all season long. It seemed like he's kind of been the new Adam Franzen this season.
Right, yeah, exactly.
No offense to you, Adam. I'm sure you've been watching a lot of games, maybe not commenting as much. Of course, we knew you were watching almost every game, Adam, because you would comment that you're watching. But we appreciate Adam Franzen for watching the last couple of years. And that Pizza Dude, he's watched almost every game here on Up North Hockey this season.
Yeah, and we got some youth hockey coming up this weekend. Region Hockey Tournament, Pee Wee A and Pee Wee AA. So make sure you join us for that. Or Bantam AA, I'm sorry. I'm getting my Pee Wees put together here, but yeah.
Yeah, Bantam AA here in Grand Rapids. I'll be covering that. The winners bracket, the 4 quarterfinals on Friday, the 2 semifinals on Saturday, and then the championship game and second seed games to go to state on Sunday. Once again, Bantam AA regionals here at the IRA Civic Center. And then same thing for you, Randy, in Virginia for Pee Wee AA North regionals.
Yeah, Pee Wee A North
Pee Wee
region
A.
there.
I'm getting mixed up now.
Pee Wee North regional on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'll have a bunch of games from them from there. So make sure that we'll post those online when we know for sure. Right out front, chance for the Hunters in front was Caden Postal, and face-off is going to come. I don't know if they're going to bring this outside or just to the left of Pilkington.
And it's going to be a very eventful day at both rinks on Saturday. We'll have the regionals going on here on Saturday, the Bantam AA regionals. And Grand Rapids will be playing their semifinal game against either Duluth Marshall or Cloquet-Esco Carleton probably in the afternoon right here at the IRA Civic Center. And then for you, same thing. Pee Wee A regionals going on there. And Virginia and Evelyn Gilbert, I believe they play at 4 o'clock at the Miners as well.
Yeah. No, 1 o'clock is the time of that game.
I just saw it got changed to 4. Evelyn Gilbert High School Hockey shared that.
Oh, it changed to 4 o'clock. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Probably because of the maybe because of the region tournament being there, they switched the times up a little bit.
Yep.
So we're going to get a whistle stoppage of play with 14:49 here to go. Denfeld going back to the penalty box here.
And then So on the season, Duluth Denfeld on the penalty kill, they have a penalty kill of 83%. And for Grand Rapids on the power play this season, a 34% power play. That's a very good power play percentage, Randy, 34% for Grand Rapids.
Dump back out here by Hunter, sending it back in, and they picked up by Peart over to Young. Young moving it back in. Young across the blue line. And now it's picked up by the Hunters and fired all the way out. Link the ice by Cade Shea. Young and Peart back as Peart picks this up. Peart moves it ahead to Bischoff. Bischoff moving it back in, now back to Peart. Peart back over to Del Greco. Into Bischoff in front of the net. Del Greco tips it back in. Holcomb trying to pick that up as it's picked up by Bischoff. Bischoff works it back to Peart. Peart back to Del Greco. Back over on the side to Young. Back to Del Greco. Del Greco to Peart with a drive on. Big kick save by Schneider, and it comes out.
Well, I see there's a Grand Rapids student here with his Burger King uniform on. If you're hungry, I guess, Randy, maybe go ask him to see if he can cook you up some burgers from Burger King.
Yeah, or deliver us some, yeah. Right? Deliver us some after the second period here. Young moves it around. Young moving it at center ice. Going to skate it all the way in coast to coast. And Young shot, kick save by Schneider. Now Young will pick this up. Young sends it back to over in the corner to DeMars, back to Morquay. Sent on by Sturl, and a save by Schneider.
Well, 18 seconds remaining on the power play for Grand Rapids. Jacob Schneider doing very good here on this penalty kill for Duluth Denfeld and net. He's made a couple big saves. Grand Rapids had a couple nice shots on. We have 13:07 remaining in period 2. 3-0 still in favor of Grand Rapids. Shots on goal are 15-14 in favor of the visiting team, Duluth Denfeld.
Back to Morquay. Morquay sending it back to Kerr. Back to Morquay. Morquay shot! Rebound. No rebound for DeMars, and DeMars with it. Back in the corner. DeMars sends it back to Morquay. Morquay moving it over to Sturl. Sturl sends it back in. Back behind the net, moving around with Drotz. Drotz is going to hold it in here for the Thunderhawks. Stays in with DeMars in the corner. DeMars with it now to Drotz. Drotz now moving it back to Morquay. Move more back to DeMars. Trying to get to it was Drotz again. Drotz now picking it up. Back to DeMars. Back to Morquay. Back to DeMars. And back to Morquay. Over to Sturl. Sturl with a drive on. Gets blocked through traffic, but Grand Rapids keeping the pressure on here. DeMars.
Well, the way they're moving the puck right now, it feels like they're on a power play still. They're moving the puck really well, making Duluth Denfeld chase for it, and Duluth Denfeld finally clears it out. But that was a nice minute of hockey there for Grand Rapids, just passing it around there in their offensive zone.
Yeah, definitely passing, and a lot of passes right on the tape around the zone, and moved back in by Larson trying to make it play. Martinson picks it up and sends it back to Morquay, and he knocks it out as it's picked up by Cosisto and sent ahead by Odd, but this is going to be icing is the call.
I would like to see them shoot a little more, though. You see that they weren't on the power play there, but you see that a lot with teams where they pass it around too much and hardly get any shots on net. It doesn't matter if it's the power play or, even strength, but, it's good to move it around, though, try to get that perfect shot, but you're not always going to get that perfect shot, and you got to shoot the puck sometimes, so a little more.
Trying to bring it behind the net, and we get a penalty, delayed penalties coming up here against Grand Rapids.
That's going to be Wade Brose heading to the box, number 11. That'll be a 2-minute minor for hooking. So another power play here for Duluth Denfeld. I said this before, they got to score the next goal here. They still trail 3-0. Got to get this power play going, too.
Yeah, they definitely desperately need a goal here, trailing by 3 3-0 here, so they need something to hamper it for them. It's back. Bonner will send it back out here for the Thunderhawks. Well, Shea picks it up. Shea going on over the other side to Larson. Larson moving it back in. Larson along the wall. Larson swings it around. Back over to Connor McClure. Taken away by Peart. Peart back the other way. Peart breaking in. Peart shot right on. Snyder with the big glove save.
So for Jacob Snyder, he started the game kind of rough, but he's been, playing a lot better now. He's made a lot of big saves here in the second period. Not a good start to the power play, though, for Duluth Denfeld. Once again, I remember on their first power play, Grand Rapids had a lot of chances on the penalty kill, and they got to get the power play going. But like I said, Jacob Snyder, he's been he's shaking off the first 3 goals that he let up, and now he's playing a lot better, like I said.
Shea picks it up at center ice. Shea will send it back into Larson. Larson will swing it back in, trying to get it to Cooper McClure. And the Thunderhawks move it back out. 10:16 to play here in the second period of play. Grand Rapids 3, Duluth Denfeld 0. Shea works it over to Larson. Larson sending it back, trying to send it back in. Grand Rapids tips it back out. And Shea back in his own end of the ice to pick it up. Shea moving it ahead now. Got 40 seconds left on the power play as Davidson knocks it back in. Davidson picks it up behind the net, and now it's picked up by Bischoff. Now it's Morquay with it. Morquay and knocked around the boards by McClure. Now it comes out. Grand Rapids moving it back out with Bischoff. Back it up, Delcrack on a Peart, and Peart with a drive on. Snyder with the save. And Davidson has it. Now Davidson moving in. Cooper McClure with it. Chance out in front. And he just couldn't get the pass over to him. As Sturl races back into the Denfeld end. Both teams are back at full strength. And this is a icing is the call, but I think Sturl dumped that out. So this is going to come back out to center ice.
Yeah, Grand Rapids shot it out there, out of their offensive zone. We saw that happen in the JV game there. The referee called it an icing when it was clearly Denfeld shooting it down to their own zone. So the face-off will be at center ice here.
And this is Young over on the other side. Young gets it over to Peart. Peart going back over to Young. Young moving ahead, tipped in by Henry Sturl. Now back behind the net is DeMars. DeMars working around out front was Mortensen. Mortensen in the corner. Mortensen with it. Mortensen working it out to but DeMars. DeMars is shot right on. Good chance for Mortensen and DeMars to hook up on that play.
That's the second, tough save there for Snyder. Just about a minute ago on the penalty kill for Grand Rapids, he made a very nice save when Sam Sturl put the shot on. So, like I said, he's playing a lot better here in the second period. It's not like he played, let up 3 goals in the first period, not terrible. But, yeah, he's really turning it on here in the second period, making a lot of tough saves for Duluth Denfeld.
Peart with a shot on. It came out. Young will tip it back in here now. Siegel trying to clear it out is held in by Young. Young now with it. Young will send it back in, but out of play. I see Drew Walters is one of the referees out here tonight. I want to give him a shout out because on Sunday we had his we had his little guy on our. We did a little interview with 3 of mini mites, and Finley Walters was one of those 3. And that's the son of Drew Walters, a little mini mite. He's a future Hibbing Chisholm Blue Jackets.
Make sure to check that out, though. It's on all 3 of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It was a cute interview with those kids, Randy. You did a good job with that. And even one of the players there was wearing a St. Louis Blues Scott Perunovich jersey.
Yeah, had a Scott Perunovich jersey on, and that was a fun interview. Those kids had Sent back in. I'll finish it in just a second. Shot on! Good chance for Bischoff. But what I was going to say is those kids had a grin from, the full grin on their face. They were so excited about it. And, asking them their favorite NHL player and, talking about Scotty Perunovich. It was fun. It was fun to do. Fun to watch those kids' emotions. It was a priceless moment. Sent in back on the point from Sam Sturl. Just back behind the net. Mortensen moving it around. Mortensen trying to get it back over and taken away by Shea. Now back in the corner. Sturl keeps it in along with DeMars. Along with Shea now trying to get it out here for the Hunters. Back over on the other side is Nate Burke. And now Mortensen. Now back to Morquay. Morquay and dumped out by Shea. Now moving it back out. Hunters in front, but we get a whistle stoppage of play here.
Yeah, he did touch it in time there. It crossed the goal line before number 13. Cole Olson touched it, so that will be an icing against Duluth Denfeld. I was going to say, though, Randy, it was pretty cool that we did those interviews with the Pee Wee and Bantam players as well. They really liked that.
Yeah, that was fun. Looking forward to do that again here during the region tournament coming up this weekend as well. I think those kids had fun with those interviews, and a lot of them did a great job with those interviews as well.
Yep.
Centering out front, shot right on wide of the net. Coming in there from chance for out front for Kerr again. Kerr just had a shot wide of the net, and it's picked up now, moved in by Drotz. Moves it back in, fires around the board. Is Odd, moves it out to center, picked up by Peart. Over to Del Greco. Del Greco moving it back in here. Del Greco in. Too far, is going to wrap around. Center up front to Peart. Shot on. Big save. Picked up by Young though. Young with another drive to the net. Snyder making save after save in this period. Back in there is Drotz, and Denfeld able to clear it out for the icing.
Yeah, Jacob Snyder again. He's keeping this a close game. Denfeld needs to score, though. I've said it a couple times now. They got to get the next goal. 6:02 remaining in period 2. Right. Still 3-0 Grand Rapids. It's still a reachable score, obviously. Only 3 goals. And Jacob Snyder is single-handedly keeping it a close game.
Morquay now with it. Morquay sends it back in here for Bischoff. Bischoff over to Holcomb. Holcomb moving around here. Holcomb back in the corner, leaves it for Bischoff. Back to Morquay. Back to Bischoff. Bischoff moving it back in. Shot. Another big save by Snyder. Kicks it out. Denfeld able to hold it in there. Fight for it in the corner. We're going to get a whistle and a face-off.
Well, here in the second period, the shots are adding up now for Grand Rapids. They lead in the shots on goal category, 23-15. Of course, after the first period, the shots were in favor of Duluth Denfeld, but Grand Rapids really starting to turn it on now, as they still lead 3-0.
Shot goes wide of the net from Bonner, sending it in here. And now it's back as Bonner picks it up and sends it back in. Now it's Denfeld trying to get it out here is Bloomquist, and it comes out. Picked up by Peart. He's going to go back in his own end of the ice. And moving back in, Grand Rapids will pick it up. And Morquay, tipped back in by Larson. Now it's picked up by Peart. 4:54 to go here in the second period to play 3-0. Grand Rapids. Oh, yeah. I knew that. Sorry, Sam. Sam Sturl's number 24, not 23. Oh, boy. Okay, back behind the net is moving around DeMars. DeMars centering out front for Henry Sturl. Just threw as knocked up by Olson.
It's kind of like
Simon Davidson sends it back in.
It's kind of like last year with Keegan Fink and Casey Kemp.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've done it.
I got those two mixed up last year. Young with a drive right on as Hayden DeMars was breaking on with him, but Young took the shot. Snyder, no rebound there, big save.
Yeah, I'm sure I've done that a lot too. I know I have. Saying the wrong player.
I didn't do it this year, but last year I got Keegan Fink and Casey Kemp mixed up for the Blue Jackets.
Yep.
And that was a pretty awesome movement, I think, when I got those two mixed up. That one.
Well, that was weird. I was surprised you got those. Out of any players, those two players mixed up.
Right.
That was odd.
Should have never done that. So this is my first Grand Rapids game here tonight. So you got to give me a little bit of a leeway, I guess.
Yep. Well, no matter how much you do this, you're always going to make mistakes with broadcast. Yeah. I'm sure Anthony LaPanta, he makes a lot of mistakes too.
Yeah, those guys are so smooth though. They have
a
way to cover it.
Yep.
If they make a mistake, they have a way to cover it.
Right.
I think. As right out front, DeMars with another shot down low, and Snyder with another big save.
Well, yeah, sometimes you say something wrong without even noticing it, like you don't notice it at all.
Right.
That happens a lot. But
right.
Anyways, 4:03 remaining in period 2. Still 3-0 in favor of Grand Rapids. Shots on goal are 25-15, also in favor of Grand Rapids. So this more of a calm period here, Randy.
There's it's been a little bit more as Peart sends a shot in, and Justin Kerr picks it up. Yeah, definitely has calmed down here with things. Young over on the other side. Young will dump it back in. Kicked it in the corner by Snyder. Now Del Greco picks it up. Del Greco over to Young. Young trying to go upper shelf on Snyder and just missed the target by maybe a foot or so. Young back in the corner now. Young missing it up. Leaves it for Peart. And it's fired out by Drotz. And this is going to be... It's not going to... Nope, they're going to wave it off as touched by the Hunters and moved ahead by Connor McClure. Now it's tipped by Drotz. Drotz is going to skate in here. Drotz in with Bischoff. Bischoff just behind the net now. Keeps it in here for the Thunderhawks. Back to Morquay. Morquay shot gets blocked down. Bischoff over to Peart. Peart with a shot out upper shelf and over the top of the net. This is Del Greco. Del Greco swings it back to Morquay. Morquay sends it back in for Bischoff. Bonner trying to keep it in as Peart picks this up now. Peart moving around the back of the net. And Larson tipping it out. Bischoff will keep it in. 2:26 to go here in the second period. Grand Rapids leads 3-0. And sent back in by Hunter Sam Karch. Now it's picked up by Bonner. Hunter trying to bring it out. Peart in there as he's pressured on the play by Denfeld. I did it again. Sam Sturl. Oh my God. Where? Oh boy. I'm having a tough night with Sam Sturl here. Sam Sturl, shot on goal by Sam Sturl. I'll get it right. Third period, I'll get it right. I promise. Oh my God. Wow. My last game for Up North Hockey, my last varsity game for Up North Hockey, in the IRA Civic Center, and I can't get Sam Sturl's number right. This is back to Peart, back over to Young. Young with the shot, gets blocked down. Peart's going to pick it up. Peart over to Young. Young back over to DeMars. DeMars is skating in. DeMars behind the net. DeMars wheeling it back in. DeMars over to Mortensen with a drive just off Snyder's pads. Young picks it up. Back over to DeMars. His shot goes wide of the net. Back by Sturl. Sturl sends it back in for DeMars. 1:07 to play here. DeMars now picked up by Peart. Back over to Young. Young with a chance. No, Young behind the net, wheeling it around. Young goes back to Mortensen. He'll retreat back out to center. Back in his own the ice, over to Peart. Peart moving it up to Mortensen. And now it's taken away by Larson. Shot right on. Pilkington will leave it for Peart. Mortensen is tipped back in here by Karch. Now Young sends it back out to center. And dumped back in by the Hunters. 30 seconds to play here in the second period of play. Peart coming out, going over, back over to Del Greco. Del Greco with a shot right on as Justin Kerr was kind of set up a little bit of screen in front of us. Snyder.
Well, make sure to check out our website, upnorthhockey.com. Thank you to 90 Degree Media and Jamison Geisler for building that website for us. Our schedule for next weekend is up on the website. Once again, upnorthhockey.com. We have a PayPal link on there if you're looking to send money to Up North Hockey as a donation. That covers, travel, food, on top of equipment. Once again, upnorthhockey.com for the PayPal link. And then we also have a Venmo account, and that is Up North-Hockey. Once again, Venmo, Up North-Hockey.
Well, that's going to do it for the second period of play. No scoring in that second period, but Grand Rapids continuing strong play here and lead 3-0.
Yeah, things really calmed down here in the second period. It was an even better period for Grand Rapids, even though they didn't score. I felt like they played a lot better here in the second period. But like you said, no goals. Grand Rapids got their 3 goals in the first period, and that's where we stand after 2 periods of play. 3-0 Grand Rapids over Duluth Denfeld.
Yeah, it was another strong period. Jacob Snyder playing awesome in the goal in that period. Lots of shots on goal in that period for Grand Rapids, and Snyder playing very well.
He was very good. Very good. He has kept us a close game. 3-goal lead for Grand Rapids is very reachable for Duluth Denfeld to come back in the third period. It could very well be 5-0, 6-0 easily. Snyder is keeping Denfeld in this game.
Yeah, he definitely is here tonight. So we'll see what happens in the 17 minutes remaining in this game.
Yeah, shots on goal, too, 29-16 in favor of Grand Rapids. And like you said, no goals, so no scoring recap here after 2. So I'll step aside here. Make sure to listen in between the second and third periods, or third period after our advertisements. Make sure to tune in. We're going to talk a little bit about Up North Hockey, so make sure to tune in for that. We'll be back for that in about 3 minutes or so. So 3-0 Grand Rapids over Duluth Denfeld after 2 periods of play. The Rink Sports Grill in Eveleth offers casual family dining in a hockey-themed atmosphere. Try one of their daily specials or your favorites from the menu. The Rink Sports Grill offers 8 large-screen TVs and 2 10-foot projection screens, so you never have to miss a minute of the game. The Rink also offers large and small group seating with meeting areas available. Full menu, limited menu, or buffet, They can cater your event, party, or meeting. That's the Rick Sports Grill at 301 Hetrick Avenue in Evelyn. Check them out today. Stop by Iron Range Apparel for all your Minnesota-themed clothing and home decor. Located in the Thunderbird Mall in Virginia, Iron Range Apparel offers lake cabin and home decor along with a large variety of apparel. Grab a hockey hoodie for the rink or a winter hat for the cold Minnesota weather. Iron Range Apparel also offers wholesale pricing and custom screen printing. Find them on Facebook and Instagram or shop online at ironrange.shop, and good luck to all the players. Minnesota Twist Drill is a proud sponsor of Up North Hockey and wish best of luck to all players on the season ahead and to have fun. For all your heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration needs in the Grand Rapids area, call Tony from Anthony's Heating, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration at 218-256-1092 or find them on Facebook at Anthony's Heating, AC, and Refrigeration, LLC. G&B Environmental specializes in proactive air and water filtration services, HVAC coil protection, cottonwood screen insulation for cooling units, UV light air purification systems, and electrostatic disinfectant spraying for COVID-19 and other contagions. Give them a call at 1-800-466-2018 or visit gbenvironmental.com. Winnie Trading Post is your one-stop shop on the way to the lake. Located 12 miles north of Deer River on Highway 46 by Lake Winnebagoche, Winnie Trading Post offers gas, food, bait, propane, and everything in between. Find them on Facebook by searching Winnie Trading Post or stop by on your next trip to the lake. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're in between our second and third periods here at the IRA Civic Center, our final high school hockey game here on Up North Hockey tonight for Randy and I, and probably for next season too. So it's been a pretty good game here, 3-0 Grand Rapids after two periods. Both goaltenders playing very well, Jacob Snyder and Wyatt Pilkington. So we're just going to talk about Up North Hockey a little bit again. We were kind of talking about that before the second period. Started this 4 years ago as a Twitter page, and we've been live streaming and stuff. But this time we're going to kind of focus on our most memorable games the last 4 years. What's number one for you, Randy? For live streaming and doing Twitter updates. I mean, that's an easy one though. Greenway Hermantown. Both years, very good games in the section finals. Both years covered both of them on Twitter, but that second year, that when Greenway upset them and Greenway got the big win in double overtime, Dante Lawson. I remember watching that overtime, and I was sitting there. I was starting my phone and stopping my phone for my video on my phone, and I'm like, I saw the play set up, and I'm thinking, you know what? I just kind of felt like Greenway was going to score. So I just started my video at the same time, and just seconds later, Dante Lawson scored to send Greenway to the state tournament and dethrone Hermantown as a long-time Section 7A champion. Of course, Aaron Elich was a big part of that goal, too. He carried it through neutral, shot it towards the net, and Lawson pretty much got that rebound. I think Elich shot it on net, and Lawson was able to knock in the rebound, like I said. But the year before, when Hermantown still made it, I couldn't believe that game. Here's a story from that game. Hermantown was up by one. There was probably 10 seconds remaining in the third period in the section final. This was back in 2018. So I was like, this is over. This game's over. 5 seconds remaining. I start walking up the stairs to leave.
Right.
And, this game's over. Hermantown Section 7A champions again. And I start walking up. I look back. and Cameron Lance scores to tie it up at 3 apiece with .1 seconds remaining. I could not believe it. I was in shock when that happened. Of course, Hermantown won that game in double overtime. I think Tyler Watkins scored the game-winning goal there for Hermantown in that one.
Yeah, those two section finals, just heck of a finals for both of those. And last year we went and watched a historic rivalry between Warroad and Roseau, meeting 2 of the season. That was in Warroad. We went out to East Grand Forks. We did East Grand Forks St. Cloud Cathedral. We did Grand Rapids Greenway. A big rivalry in front of a packed house over at the Hodgins Barato Arena. And that place was so loud in there, and it was so tough to do that game, but that was so much fun. That was just a lot of fun to be able to be part of that great rivalry there.
Probably number 3 for top game I covered on Twitter had to be that Evelyn Gilbert Virginia quarterfinal game back in 2019.
Yes.
And Randy, it was a triple overtime game. Randy just about made it from Cloquet to see the finish.
Yeah, I was racing back there. I was within the city limits of Virginia when Virginia scored that game winner to end that thrilling game.
Yeah, you were probably at Midway or so, huh?
Yeah, I think just a little bit further in.
Okay.
Off at Midway, but really close to that. And they're playing each other Saturday, 4 o'clock. That game could get over at like 10 o'clock at night. I mean, it could be like this long, thrilling overtime game.
And
again,
that game there, I mean, if it did make it it just about made it to the 4th overtime too, and if it did, you would have made it.
Right, exactly. Sent back in here. Underway is Bischoff with a shot on. Rebound comes out. Bonner trying to pick it up. Young goes back over on the other side. Peart moves it ahead into Holcomb. Back over his side. Bischoff with a shot on Snyder out of the play. Yeah, I was so close to making it to that game. I was so mad when I was like, I didn't want Virginia to score yet because I'm like, I want to get to this game.
And of course, you were covering Grand Rapids Cloquet in the 7AA quarterfinals.
Yeah, I spent a little extra time after that game, at the arena where I shouldn't have. I should have got out of there. If I got out of there right away, I would have made it back in time, I think. But I didn't. So I like to talk to people.
And of course, that game on Saturday is 4 o'clock start. Like we mentioned, the last high school hockey game at the Bree Cupoletti Arena in Virginia.
Sent back in the corner as Grand Rapids Bischoff moves it back to Peart. Peart moving it back in front to Bischoff with a drive over the top of the net. Bischoff just putting it over the center and moved out by Larson. Larson sending it over on the other side into the corner. Picked up by Postal. Now to defend another play by Young. Now Larson in there with Peart now coming out with it. Peart moving it back out. Back ahead to Holcomb. Holcomb moving it in. Holcomb with a little backhander just over the top of the net. Hunters send it back in. Odd trying to reach for it as Sturl will send it back in here for the Thunderhawks. Sam Sturl dumps it back in. Picked up here by Bonner or Del Greco, and now it's picked up by Drotz. Now Larson dumps it out here for the Hunters. Morkway will pick it up here back behind the net. Morkway moves it over to Sturl. Sturl sending it back in here to the Hunters zone. Back in here to get it is Bloomquist. Now moving it out. Picked up by Sturl again. Now Del Greco. Del Greco trying to go back to Drotz, and now it's turned away by Cole Olson and dumped back in by Shea. Sturl and Olson. Shea now. Shea a little backhander. Shea going back to the point. Back over on the other side. Shot on. Gets blocked through traffic. And whistle stoppage of play here. Inner holding penalty coming up here.
Against Ren Morkway. He's going to be heading to the box for 2 minutes for holding. So Power play for Duluth Denfeld. Still looking for their first goal of the game here in this third period. Grand Rapids still with the 3-0 lead. But I was going to say, we have a lot of lasts here tonight. Last high school regular season game, last regular season game for both teams. And Randy and I's last game here on Up North Hockey for high school. Also, it'll be our last Iron Range Apparel Player of the Game production. After this game, make sure to tune in for that or watch out for that on our 3 social media platforms.
Held in by the Hunters, Peart, and now it's picked up, held in the corner. Moving it out was Davidson, and Pilkington's going to hold on to this one.
That's something I'm really glad we came out with the Player of the Game interview presented by Iron Range Apparel. It was very generous donation to give us all those hats to give to players and do a quick interview. So that's been really fun. It's been fun to give these players some press.
Yeah, that certainly has been definitely a fun thing that we've been doing.
Probably my favorite response ever was that Hibbing PWA player just last weekend.
Yesterday.
Yep. Or yesterday. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you asked him how did the Blue Jackets get the victory or whatever, something like that, and he was like, "Well, we started out slow, but coaches yelled at us in the locker room in between periods, and we played better in the third."
Yeah, that was fun. That's just pure fun when those kids get to be in the spotlight and they get to do an interview, and that's a lot of fun. Those kids had a lot of fun with that. And looking forward to this weekend coming up. Back over to Larson. Now pick up here is held in by Shea back on the point here. Shea with a shot right on, and Pilkington with the save. 13:42 to go. 57 seconds left on the power play for the Hunters.
Well, I've been very impressed with how Pilkington's controlled those rebounds. He hasn't let up a lot of rebounds here in this game, and he has 18 saves on 18 shots. So he's played very well. Both goaltenders have actually played very good here tonight, including Jacob Snyder with 27 saves out of 30 shots. Still 54 seconds remaining on the power play.
Larson knocks it in. I think it was tipped in front by Cooper McClure. And that's a power play goal for the Hunters.
Well, as I was talking there, once again, I was doing that, it seemed like during the JV game, every time I was talking, a team would score, and there it happens again. But, yeah, Duluth Denfeld, they finally get their first goal of the hockey game here in this third period. 13:35 remaining in period 3. That's a huge goal. We still have a big chunk of this third period left. 2-goal lead for Grand Rapids only.
Yeah, 2-goal lead, so sent in back by the Hunters. And this is sent back in the corner, now Peart with it. And Peart will send it back out. Larson with the assist on that Denfeld goal is Peart will move it back in, and his shot off the Larson stick and on a play.
I feel like the Duluth Denfeld players have been very good at blocking shooting lanes here tonight. There's been a lot of shots for Grand Rapids that have been blocked and deflected out of play by Duluth Denfeld, so they've been doing a good job by doing that. Lots of attempted shots for Grand Rapids here tonight. They only have 30 shots on net, but I would say they probably have 15 to 20 attempted shots between shots that got blocked by a stick or a player, or also shots that went wide as well.
Yeah, still lots of time left. 12:56 to go here. And Grand Rapids controls. Peart going back over to Young. Young sending it back up to Holcomb. And it's picked up now by the Hunters' Connor McClure. McClure moving it back in here. Now it's picked up by Holcomb. Holcomb going over on the other side to Young. Young moving it back in here. Now it's picked up by number 6 moving out is Odd. Odd now going over the other side and moved ahead. And now wheeling it back in is Holcomb. Now it's back to Young. Young going back to Bonner. Bonner with a shot in front. Trailing on the play was Holcomb just out front. Bischoff now with it. Bischoff is going to go back to Young. Young can't keep it in, so he'll retreat back out of the center. Now Sturl with it. Sturl moving it ahead to Holcomb. And whistle. Stoppage of play on the offside.
Well, 11:57 remaining here in period 3. 3-1 Grand Rapids now. Of course, Duluth Denfeld scored that goal, their first goal of the game, to make it 3-1 just a few minutes ago. So we're in for an entertaining final 11:52 of this game.
Del Greco out front for the Thunderhawks. And a save by Snyder.
So we're just about to section playoffs here, Randy. Unfortunately, we've had a couple teams get shut down here in this area. The Hibbing Chisholm girls hockey team got shut down. They are done for the season. Unfortunate for them, because I believe they're a 2 or 3 seed in that section. So that's unfortunate for them. And there's been a whole list of other teams around the state. Duluth East, they got shut down. A couple other teams off the top of my head. Shakopee was having a pretty good season, a historic season for the Sabres. They had a couple good wins, and
right.
That's an up and coming program there, Shakopee. Very good youth teams as well coming up.
Yeah, it's too bad that their season ending here is tough on a lot of teams here. Moved around. The Shea back in here. Shea trying to make a move on Peart, and Peart now with it. Peart's going to get it over to Bischoff. Now it's picked up by Peart. Peart moving it back out, goes over to Del Greco. Del Greco back over to Holcomb. Holcomb gets blocked on, but Peart holds it in here. Back to Del Greco. Back to Holcomb behind the net now with it. Back to Del Greco. Over on the other side to Young. Back to Del Greco on the other side. There Holcomb back there is. Now it's picked up by Young. Young moving it over to Peart. Peart with a shot over the top of the net. Trying to get to it was Bischoff in front. Bischoff now with it as Holcomb picks it up. Holcomb goes back to Peart. Peart with a drive in there. Tip in by Hunter Bischoff to make it 4-1.
That was a nice play by Grand Rapids. They were doing what they always do on the power play. They move the puck around. They make the other team, chase them, and they really tire them out. And Duluth Denfeld was getting tired there. Good puck movement by Grand Rapids. Nice shot by Jack Peart, and Hunter Bischoff finishes it off with that tip in. Nice overall work by Grand Rapids on the power play.
Yeah, Jack Peart is so good back on the point. So solid, and of course the St. Cloud commit.
Well, I'm sure we're going to be seeing him in that in red and black next season, I'm sure. Of course, he's already played with the Fargo Force for pretty much a year now. He played with them right before the high school season here, as well as last season after section playoffs here in Minnesota, and after the high school season here this year, he's going to go back there and play with them for the playoffs. And I'm sure we'll see him in red and black down in St. Cloud.
Peart driving right back in, almost going coast to coast there. And Snyder making a big save as Connor McClure dumps it back into the Thunderhawks zone. Picked up by Peart. Going over to Mortensen. Mortensen will pick it up and he'll send it out as moving ahead to Hayden DeMars. DeMars now with it as picked up by Larson. Now it's picked up by Sturl over to Morquay. Morquay sending it out as moving it back in. Mortensen tips it back in here. 9:46 to play in the third period of play. Grand Rapids with the 4-1 lead. Morquay now with it. Morquay moving it up to Holcomb. Holcomb getting it to DeMars now. The Brennan sends it back in here for the Hunters for the icing.
Well, there's only 7 games in boys high school hockey here tonight. A couple games got canceled. A couple scores. St. Thomas Academy defeated Matamidi 3-0. That's the final score there. Park Rapids, Lake of the Woods play. Champlain Park, Elk River, Zimmerman. Spring Lake Park defeated Ozio 3-2. Hibbing Chisholm and Duluth East were supposed to play tonight, but of course that game got canceled due to Duluth East having COVID. 2 other games, Crookston, Detroit Lakes, and Totino Grace and Blake. So, I'm sure there'd be a lot more games here tonight in the final couple days, but there's been a lot of cancellations just due to precautions here before the section playoffs.
Right. Yeah. There's lots of those things going on now. Here is Grand Rapids is going to get a penalty. 9:07 to play.
And of course, you've seen a lot of these teams that have a shot to make it to state. What was I going to say? Just, canceling games here in the final couple days because they don't want to miss out on that, state tournament trek. And,
Right.
It's unfortunate that's really come to this. Hermantown Gentry Academy were supposed to play last Friday, and that game got canceled on top of other games. It's just unfortunate to see, but I guess you got to be precautionary in these COVID days if you want to play in section playoffs and get that opportunity to get to St. Paul.
Del Greco and Peart working it down the length of the ice, and Denfeld broke up that play and moving it back out. Simon Davidson in on the offside. Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful on, you start thinking, these teams are getting COVID and start taking precautionary, measures and miss games, for your final game of the year, just to make sure you're healthy and ready to go for the playoffs.
Well, we do have some good news for the state tournament, though. For the semifinals and state championship games, there will be the high school league is going to allow 3,000 fans, I'm sure, because that's going to be the new statewide guidance, 3,000 fans for indoor events. And, you can easily fit 3,000 in a big venue like the XL Energy Center. So still not a lot of people, but I guess it's better than 250 people like it originally was going to be. I did see the high school league is going to, discuss it, and they will go through with it. If you can have 3,000, why wouldn't they have 3,000 in there?
Right. Yeah. April 1st is when when the guideline changes. So that's something that the high school league is looking at doing. And Denfeld has called a timeout here. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us all year long. It's just it's been a shortened season, but it's been a very busy season. A lot of nights Blake and I did, we did double headers. A lot of people that helped me that I want to thank too as well. Jay Hildenbrand helped me with a lot of games this year as well. Braden Rewerts helped me. We had those people. Isaac Hildenbrand helped me with some of the JV games. For JV for girls hockey, I had Abigail. All right, it's Mrs. Sullivan. I had her helping me with some of the JV games filming. So it's been a fun year.
Also, the Rig Sports Grill, Iron Range Apparel, Minnesota Twist Drill, G&B Environmental, Anthony's Heating, AC and Refrigeration, Winnie Trading Post, Cam Auto Spot, 90 Degree Media. We thank all of them for sponsoring us this season. And all the generous donors. I see we got a $100 donation here tonight from, what was it? I don't remember her first name, but it was a Sturl, so probably a Sturl relative. We thank her for that. And, of course, you can donate by visiting upnorthhockey.com. We have a PayPal link through there. Once again, upnorthhockey.com. Also, Venmo, upnorth-hockey.
Yeah, just to the people that have been donating money this year, that's been incredible. And we thank them all for their donations. And with our sponsors' help, this would have never been possible this year or even last year as well. So sent in Hunter, sending in back in. Larson sends it wide of the mark, as picked up now by Young and moved out by Bonner back into the Hunter zone. 13 seconds left on that power play for the Hunters. And Odd is going to bring it out here. Odd as it's touched by Sturl. And both teams are back at full strength. Henry Sturl trying to move it out here for the Thunderhawks. And it's dumped back in here by Hayden DeMars. DeMars in front! Trying to go over to Wade Browse out front. And sent back by Sturl back into the corner. Now it's picked up by Odd behind the net. Odd moving it ahead. And dumped back in here by Sam Karch. Now it's picked up by Peart. And now DeMars has it. Back over to Del Greco. Del Greco wheeling around. Del Greco in front! Shot! And Snyder got a piece of that. And it's coming back out here. Is picked up. Now it's center and moved back in by Cole Olson. Over on the other side, Stauffer moves it out to center. Del Greco touching it. And it's moved back in by Davidson. Now Del Greco. Del Greco going over to Peart. Peart back in. Peart getting it over on the other side to the middle to Kerr. And the Hunters will move it out with Shea moving it ahead. And Simon Davidson. Now it's picked up by Sturl. Sam Sturl wheeling it back in. Sturl back to the point. Nice little drop pass for Henry Sturl. And a shot on goal. And the Hunters are going to clear it. Icing is coming up.
Well, Randy, 5:26 remaining here in this game. 5:26 remaining in Up North Hockey's high school coverage this season.
Yeah, it's been certainly, it's been a challenging year with battling COVID for everybody, but for us, it's been a busy season, and certainly with our moves, me going to Atlanta and you going to school at the University of Minnesota, it's one for the memory books.
Well, if you didn't have enough of me this season, you can very well tune into MN Hockey TV next season.
Right.
I'll be working for them there. I'm sure everyone's had enough of my voice, though. So
you do a great job, Blake.
Thank you.
Bischoff right out front, and there's going to be a penalty. Yeah, talking about Minnesota Hockey TV, Blake will be after the we're going to do the postseason coverage next weekend. We're going to have the region, or this weekend coming up, we're going to have region tournaments. Bantam AA here for Blake, and I'm covering the Pee Wee A tournament with Jay Hildebrand and some others over in Virginia. But then we'll be moving on to the U State tournaments. I'll be covering the Pee Wee A tournament for MN Hockey TV, and Blake will be doing the Pee Wee AA tournament for Minnesota Hockey TV as well. So we're looking forward to that coming up here a week from Friday.
yeah, mine will be in Albertville. Yours will be in Monticello. So, if you want to tune in for that, I guess that'll be a fun weekend of hockey. The regions are going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure the district tournaments were pretty fun for you, and it was good games for me. Regions will be very exciting, and of course the state tournament. I mean, it's fun seeing these kids play in the playoffs. They play with a lot of passion and a lot of emotion. It's really fun to watch, and they work really hard. So, especially the regions coming up, that's going to be some very good hockey in the regions. 6 teams will go home. 2 teams will advance to the state tournaments in Albertville for Pee Wee AA, and for the state tournaments we're covering, Pee Wee A, we'll move on to Monticello.
Back to Peart, and back in there for Bischoff. Over to Del Greco. Sends a shot in there. Young's going to pick it up here. Young now with it. Young wheels it back to Del Greco. Del Greco back to Peart. Peart with a shot wide of the net. Young's going to pick it up. Young's moving it around. Young trying to set up here. Bischoff over on the other side. Young initially was looking for Del Greco. Young with it. Young with a shot wide of the net there. And it's going to come out, dumped out here by the Hunters. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the region tournament in Virginia this weekend. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Here's a break for Bischoff all the way in. Tries to go to the backhand. And a huge save for Snyder. Bischoff might have just got a little bit too far in, but great opportunity. Back the other way. Davidson with a drive on net, and Pilkington a big save as well.
Well, 35 seconds remaining on the power play for Grand Rapids here. 3:23 remaining in our final period of play. 4-1 in favor of Grand Rapids. Shots on goal are 36-20, also in favor of the home team, the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks.
And this is moved out now by Morquay. And up back in by Shea. Now it's picked up by Morquay. Morquay moving it up to Sturl. And tipped back in by Shea. Backhands it back in the zone. Morquay retreats to pick this up. Over to Sturl. Sam Sturl leaving it as picked up by Shea now. Shea moving it back in here. There's a chance shot right on. And a shot from Caden Postal. Another big save for Pilkington.
Boy, Pilkington's been playing really well in the last few games. I was down in Wayzata watching Grand Rapids and Wayzata play at the Plymouth Ice Center. It was a 3-3 tie. Both goaltenders played well in that game, but Pilkington, for Grand Rapids, the game could have went either way, but both goaltenders played really well, and Pilkington was very solid in net as well. He faced a lot of shots, too. Faced about, Grand Rapids uncharacteristically let up, a lot of shots, over 40 shots, so he made a lot of saves in that game. And, a good night here tonight as well.
Yeah, more big saves here for Pilkington. And yeah, so playoffs just around the corner here.
And just to make it clear, once again, we're not going to be streaming any section games.
Right.
I know here in Grand Rapids, Sheldon Willis and KOZY will be streaming the semifinal game on Saturday. I don't know if they have rights to the championship game if Rapids makes it that far. But Sheldon Willis will be doing the game Saturday. I'm not sure what the plan is for Hibbing and Greenway and Virginia. Well, Virginia, Bob Cohen and Mesabi Community TV will be doing that game. But for Hibbing's game on Saturday, I'm not sure who's doing that one.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be radio coverage for that. So as you have to apply prior to the season, or back, like early in the season, you have to apply and then get approved, and then it's the fee, $500 for quarterfinals and $1,000 per game for semifinals and finals. It's not just for all the games. It's $500 per game, quarterfinals, and then $1,000 for the semifinals and finals. So it's a big amount of money.
Yeah, and I do think the high school league does have to approve you. They got it. They look at your organization. I mean, I'm sure we're a qualified organization, but there's all kinds of rules you have to follow and stuff. So, we just didn't think it was, if we got sponsors for it even, you're not allowed to do play any sponsor ads. So that would be an option for us. So we decided not to do it again this season.
Yeah, sent back in by the Thunderhawks just wide of the net. Coming in, Henry Sturl with that shot. 1:42 to go here. It's behind the net now with Bonner. Bonner trying to wrap it around from back of the net there. And Shea knocks it back in the corner as Wade Browse touching it, and back Shea comes out with it. Shea over on the other side, and backhander behind the net by Davidson. Now Karch trying to go back out as Bonner. Bonner sends it up to Holcomb. Holcomb back in, has Bischoff with him. Holcomb. Shot gets sent behind the net as now it's picked up in the corner by Karch. Now taken away by Bischoff out front from Holcomb. And we got a minute to go here in Grand Rapids. And Karch sends it back in. Pilkington will leave it out for Kyle Henke now, getting on the ice here for the first time in the varsity game here tonight. Back in there is Holcomb now. This is Wyatt Holcomb with it. And now the Hunters pick it up and sent behind the net by Postal. Sending it out and dumped back in by Cole Olson. Now moving out is Stoffer. And moved out by Wyatt Holcomb. Now Blake Hendrickson getting out there for the Thunderhawks as well.
Yeah, probably the final shifts for a couple of these players. Blake Hendrickson and Wyatt Holcomb, probably their last shifts in their hockey career.
And that's going to do it. Grand Rapids is going to get the 4-1 victory here tonight.
Yeah, as I was saying, Holcomb, Hendrickson, probably their last shift of their career. Of course, they haven't played that much this season, but they're both seniors, and we have section playoffs coming up here. 4-1 final. Grand Rapids looks like they will lock up the number 1 seed in Section 7 AA. I think they'll be releasing that tomorrow, I'm sure. The QRF will come out, and we will know who is the number 1 seed.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm assuming it will be Grand Rapids, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I would think I guess I would be surprised if it wasn't Grand Rapids to get the victory here tonight. And 2 goals in that third period. Duluth Denfeld getting the first goal, a power play goal, and that was from Cooper McClure, and a single assist from number 16, Andy Larson. And then Grand Rapids gets their 4th goal in the third period. That goal coming from number 12, Hunter Bischoff. First assist going to Jack Peart, and the second assist on that goal to Easton Young.
Final shots on goal are 37-21 in favor of Grand Rapids. Once again, 4-1 final in favor of the Thunderhawks. Well, this is it for high school hockey for us, Randy. I'll still be in the state, broadcast the games, not in this area anymore too much. I do have a brother on Grand Rapids. He's a sophomore, so I will be making sure to come up here to Grand Rapids and, probably watch the games, probably not do any broadcasting. We'll have to see. They might have a lot of games down in the cities next year as well if it gets back to normal. But, it was a fun game. Grand Rapids getting a team picture there, their last regular season home game. They will be playing Cloquet for sure, or winner of Cloquet, Duluth Marshall. I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but the winner of Cloquet, Duluth Marshall, will take on Grand Rapids next Saturday here at the IRA Civic Center. And they win that probably, if they get number 1 seed, probably here at the IRA Civic Center again, if they beat Cloquet in the semifinals.
Right, yeah, big playoffs, brand new season, everybody starts 0-0. So you gotta come to play in the playoffs, and certainly it's our last broadcast together, Blake. I'll be moving to Atlanta in June or July. We've probably beat that to death now this last couple weeks, but boy, it's been fun working with you, Blake. I really appreciate all the time that we've spent together. Starting it out when I first messaged you when we had 34 followers on Twitter. When I first created the name Up North Hockey, we had 34 followers, and I messaged out to you and I said, well, what do you think about this? And Blake is like, well, let's do that. Let's go to the games and start tweeting updates and scoring updates and posting pictures. And then by the end of the first year we did half a season. By the championship game of the 7AA championship, we had 800 followers. We went from 34 followers to 800 followers. So that was incredible in that amount of time. And then it took off from there. And then we started live streaming last year. And yeah, it's been a fun ride, Blake.
And someone just commented, well, he said, hey, down south hockey now. You can start down south hockey.
Right, yeah, start hockey in Atlanta. And maybe start a down south hockey website or Twitter down there, and maybe do some live streaming down in Atlanta.
And I'll be attending the University of Minnesota to further pursue journalism and broadcasting. I'll also be working for Minnesota Hockey TV down in the cities there. So we thank everyone for just supporting us, tuning in the last couple seasons, following us on our social medias. It's been a fun ride. I was when we first started doing this, I got to show you these podcasts, Randy, from 2019.
Right.
I sounded awful. I can tell you that.
I was awful in every one. So.
But we've both really come a long way since then, and it's created opportunities for myself. So I'm very grateful for everyone for supporting us. You supporting me along the way too, helping me out, Randy. So, and thank you for your time and commitment to supporting Hibbing Chisholm Youth Hockey, doing the radio with Doug Dietrich on WMFG since 2006. Also, public address announcing youth hockey games and tournaments. All volunteer work there. So we really everyone appreciates that, what you've done for, Iron Range hockey, doing this up north hockey in the radio, and also, supporting Hibbing Chisholm High School and youth hockey.
Yeah, and thank you, Blake. I appreciate those comments. That means a lot to me, and then of course to you. Everything that you've done for the game of hockey as well. With Up North Hockey, you've done announcing here. You've volunteered as public address announcing for youth hockey tournaments here. You've been a referee as well. So yeah, you were giving back to the game as well, and definitely gonna miss working with you. But it's been a fun ride. And don't forget, we still have more hockey left. Blake is going to be here for the Pee Wee AA tournament this weekend. I'll be over in Virginia for the Pee Wee A regional tournament, Minnesota hockey tournaments. We'll have live coverage of those tournaments right here on Up North Hockey. And then that'll be a fitting way to end our season in our broadcast here for Up North Hockey.
Yeah, that will be the Bantam AA here at Grand Rapids.
Or Bantam AA,
yeah,
sorry.
I just wanted to make that clear for people so they weren't confused.
Yeah,
but,
Bantam AA,
yep.
Yes.
And Bantam AA here at Grand Rapids. Final broadcast for this season and next season this weekend. Make sure to tune in. It's going to be some really good youth hockey in the regionals, North Regional tournaments. So I guess we'll go give out a hat now. Our last
hat.
Our last Iron Range Apparel post-game interview. So stay tuned for that on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'll let you take over, Randy, and finish it off here. I'll sign off quick here for Blake Mortensen. My name's Blake Mortensen, saying goodnight one more time. Oh boy, this is a bad ending.
Hey, it's okay. It's our last broadcast of the year, so we're good. Last broadcast together, I'm sorry.
Yep, just saying goodnight for the last time, and I'll send it over to you.
So final score here tonight, Grand Rapids gets a 4-1 victory over Duluth Denfeld. Again, Blake Mortensen. Blake, it's been fun working with you. It's been an honor. I'm definitely going to miss it a lot. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors for all their support. Thank you for all those people out here that follow us and that faithfully watch us every week, or if you've turned in for the first time this year. We appreciate so many nice comments coming in tonight. We'd be here another hour if we went through all of them, but lots of nice compliments coming here tonight. So we'll just close out here. Again, final score, Grand Rapids 4, Duluth Denfeld 1. Saying good night from the IRA Civic Center, Blake Mortensen, and I'm Randy Catron. Good evening, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.